I wrote an article called Intellectual Cover, and what I was doing was, a lot of people, when we saw the two cops who got killed in New York, people handled it a lot of different ways. Some people said, well, it was the killer, his fault, nobody else was to blame at all in any way, shape, or form. Okay, and it's not to blame anybody else. Well, I basically agree with that. As a conservative, I only feel that the person who pulled the trigger is to blame. I like to hold people accountable for their decisions and not take the blame off them and put it on those who might influence them. However, that doesn't mean that we look at those who influence them and let them off the hook. I'm not going to put them in jail. I'm not going to hold them accountable for the crime, but I am going to call them out. See, here's my big problem. When you disrupt the left, you are disrupting a very dangerous group. Virtually all killing comes from the left. It's true. Okay, be it leftist regimes around the world, be it street crime, be it even killers at high schools and stuff. How many of them are NRA or Tea Party members? The simple fact is, drug wars and all this kind of stuff. Virtually all killing is done. The left is a very dangerous group. I know. I come from the left, and the reason is, they believe in controlling people's lives, and when you believe in controlling people's lives, you devalue them. People become less important. Your agenda becomes more important than people. You don't mind if people have to get erased for your agenda. Now, do all leftists go to that extreme? Of course not. Okay, but the left itself is a cauldron boiling over. It's dangerous. And when I look at people like the president, like our attorney general, basically telling the cops they've got to watch themselves and be careful and use restraint. What are they saying? They're saying that to some degree or another, the cops are the problem with what happened in Ferguson. The cops are the problem. No, they're not. People resisting arrest and attacking cops is the problem. I'm not saying, and when I say that, I don't say that cops are all perfect. Of course not. They're people. But look at the pot that these people are stirring. They're providing intellectual cover. They can say, well, I'm not involved, and they can even, and they on the left can even say, I'm not involved, and I even tell them, hey, be peaceful in your protests and all this. Yeah, but then you go in and tell them they're justified in their anger. And at least in the case of Ferguson, they were not justified in their anger. They were wrong. And you were telling cops in Ferguson to show restraint. And then you wonder why people feel okay about rampaging and burning down buildings. And the mayor of New York wonders why all these cops turn their backs on him. Hey, they were right to do so. He was telling his son to be worried if he reached for his cell phone in his pocket because that might provoke a cop. And that might be dangerous around police because his son is biracial. It's time, and I'll finish with this. It is time we start calling out these leftist leaders. And I don't care if they say be peaceful in your protests. Okay? It is time we start calling them out for adding validity to the protests at all. Because when they do that, they are stirring a very dangerous pot, a boiling cauldron, because they are stirring the left. And the left is violent. And the left is where a lot of killing comes from. And they are giving validity to things that have no validity. And because of that, I will call them out. I think we need to do it more.
If you're constantly ranting and angry about everything that you see from global warming to Obama wearing a tiara in a picture with a bunch of little girls, people are past your posts and they're not even going to pay any attention to you. They're just going to be like, oh, Corey's just having a temper tantrum again.